I'm addicted. Like, man, I wake up in the morning and that's the thing I want to do.
Our first idea was to kill Google.
Life could really have taken a completely different turn.
It didn't work well.
You get up in the morning and what can you build? What can you do with your skill?
Your responsibility to build the best product for as many people as possible.
For us entrepreneurs, it's incredible.
By doing that like collaborative work, they can come up with some meaningful stuff.
The next day when I wake up, I'm hyper pumped.
The best time to be entrepreneur.
So one day you wake up, open your mobile phone and it's there.
It's nice to have this money, but it doesn't bring like a lot of happiness.
They're very, very modest numbers, very small. They're nothing special.
With like one or two like technical, you can do whatever you want.
Wow, cool. Feels great. And then it's all gone.
Human touch will never go away.
You know a little bit what you're doing, you can build cool things.
Would you relocate to a different planet if you have a chance to?
Greg, wonderful to have you on the show. For our audience, just very, very briefly, I'll give a couple of bullet points to introduce you, because I think it's going to set the tone for the conversation. You're a technical founder. You have a technical background. Forbes 30 under 30, all of those fancy titles. You had a pretty good exit with one of your companies. I think 160 million-ish, right? And now you're here. So the first question, honestly, that I wanted to ask a person like you for the longest time, how the hell does it feel when you really go through that journey? Because I know how freaking hard it is to actually build a company. I'm pretty sure it was 10x as hard for you because it's just even bigger numbers. How does it feel once this whole thing is through? And what's the logistics side of things? You know, is it like, okay, it's done now, I'm out? Is it's done now, I'm working now, it's the company who acquires me? Is it, how does it feel? How did you feel? What are the emotions? Can you like take us through this roller coaster ride, if you don't mind?
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for having me here. Um, yeah, as you mentioned, I'm a technical founder, right? So I've been like starting my career from the math, computer science. I've been doing like the competitive programming when I was young. And for those who don't know, like competitive programming is essentially when you try to solve math-like problems within limited time and send the solution to the system that they then can check the solution. And your goal is to solve as many problems as possible within limited time. So I started from that. And I think that sort of shaped me also as the person. I think I became like really competitive during my young ages. And then like I really enjoyed it. I really liked math. I really liked to solve like math problems when I was in school. And then it was my natural passion to start with programming and try to build something when I was like in school or a student. And then I think like, during my career, after this, young ages, I've now wanted, honestly, like to, earn money. Money was never my goal. And I think like the idea of just doing like cool stuff and living interesting life is something that was always driving me. And I can give you also an example. When I was just like starting my first company, I had an offer from Facebook. You can imagine I've been like, just graduated the university. I worked for the big tech company called Yandex for like 2 years. I started to work very early. But then, I got offer from Facebook, and my life could just go into very, predictable, nice way of like working for big tech company, getting the nice salary, and just like slowly growing. But I decided like, to do the startup with my close friends just because I thought it's interesting. I thought it's just, fun way of spending my time. And I think that was like my guiding principle my whole life. I've always wanted to get into stuff that I find interesting. And obviously after the acquisition, I became part of Snap. I worked for that amazing company, by the way. And I'm saying like really is not because I've worked for them, but it's a really unique place where it can affect so many people at the large scale. I think publicly they have around like 450 million daily active users, and they build the features that are, immediately available to as that many people. So, once I, passed this kind of snap, I've came back to the, startup entrepreneurial journey again, just because I found it like fascinating and interesting. I could have stayed like longer at Snap, within like, like nice salary and everything, but I thought it's just not me, I guess.
Okay. And I guess we're very similar in that regard. Because for me also, like creating something out of nothing with code is kind of the most beautiful thing in the world. Really.
Yeah.
And just building and doing, and even if it just touches a couple of people, it's already great. But of course, then you at scale, it's at Snap, you touch, well, millions,
Yeah.
right? Daily. That's crazy. How does that feel actually when you go from building small-ish things, I don't know, a couple of 100 or 1,000 users, really building for millions of users? Because I guess one fuck up can really screw the whole thing, right? And really a lot of people will be not so happy with you. Like, is the development workflow actually similar? Is it completely different? Or how would you characterize that?
Yeah, I think it's just like the like level of responsibility that you have in front of like so many people is so much higher, which like essentially make the whole like process a little bit like more, I would say, like bureaucratic in a good like necessary way. And the like number of like things that you have to like think about before you launch the features is like so much higher when it's just like a very small startup, and the goal is just to build something real quick, like push it like to the production and get some feedback, iterate on it. You just don't have that like privilege in many cases when you're building for such a large company. And I think you asked about how it feels. I feel like people generally feel the like acceleration rather than speed. So in a way that like when you first like just come and like launch the product that hits, I don't know, 10 million people that are using the product daily, it just feels like incredible. It's just like you just literally high, and you feel like it's just mind blowing. You can't believe it. But then obviously when you just launch like more and more features like to that scale, it kind of feels a little bit like more. I don't want to use the word routine, but it's just you start to feel a little bit like more like it's just your responsibility to build the best product for as many people as possible. And what is also cool, like for example, when I was like at Snap, I was always like meeting random people around me and ask them about the products that I built, and it's very cool feeling that like so many people around you actually use what I built. I think it's pretty unique.
So what exactly did you build? I mean, I obviously already know, but maybe for our audience quickly, like, can you give us a quick rundown? Like, how did you start? Was this your first product? Did you pivot from something? Was this planned? Was this pure accident? What was it all about?
Yeah. So I'm gonna quickly walk you through
Please.
my journey from the very beginning. So as I mentioned, I've started my career as the just like competitive programmer, which means that it's more like the competition, like it's more like the sport rather than the process of creating the product or a startup.
And how old were you there? Is it like teens? Early?
Yeah. Like 15 when I started. I've been doing that like in my high school, and then a little bit in the university as well. But then I think so once I first joined Yandex, which is like one of the big like Eastern European company.
It's like the kind of Russian-ish Facebook, right?
Yeah, it's Russian Google. It's
Russian Google even.
yeah, it's like search engine.
Yeah.
By the way,
VK is the Russian Facebook, right?
exactly.
True.
It's like I think at that time it was like one of the like best places in the world in terms of like software engineering and product building. And I think if you take like Yandex products, they're still like pretty much comparable or even like better in terms of execution compared to alternatives that you have. For example, Yandex Taxi, I think is more convenient than like
for me it's funny. Meta, one of the biggest companies in the world, really builds some of the worst software pieces I've ever seen. Like the stuff just doesn't work. It's basic things like you want to change your, I don't know, password or email or 2FA thing in the Instagram app, it redirects you to Facebook, it redirects you here, and then you change it, and then to change the thing, it still sends it to the other email, so it's kind of not connected. It's really weird, honestly.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So I joined Yandex. I've been there for a couple of years. I've been as a software engineer. I've been building different products, including browser for Android, which is also like was pretty popular. I think more than 100 million downloads for, in the Play Store, and a couple of other products by Yandex. I think just experience made me feel that actually just made me understand how such products are created, like in general. Because before that, I didn't have like clue how it's built. And second, like pivotal experience, I've been participating in one of the hackathons when I was like on the third year of university, or maybe the last year. And during this hackathon, I've built the music player because I had like my personal problem. I wanted to listen to music offline when I was like in subway on metro. And I built the offline music player, which worked like honestly very good. And this player was connected to one of the social networks back then in Russia. And essentially it was a very, very cool product. I've lost the hackathon, but then I've kept building this product, and eventually it was downloaded I think like 4 or 5 million times.
Wow.
What
was it called?
And it was called Odnoklassniki Music. Odnoklassniki is the name of the social network.
Okay.
And the product, I think the major unlock for me was that you can actually build a product that is used by so many people, and you can generate money from it.
So wait, the first product you built yourself,
Yeah.
accidentally, or probably not accidentally, because you seem to be pretty good because you've done it multiple times, but 5 million have downloads.
Yeah, it's
Too bad, I would say.
Yeah, I would say accidentally, to be honest, in a way that I didn't think about the marketing. I was just like building the product that I like myself, and I built the product for myself. And it was great. It helped me to, get some money from it as well, which was important.
Were you able to do good money with like 5 million downloads back then, or
Yeah,
for the numbers?
roughly, I've been earning like $5,000 a month from the ads.
Okay.
The retention, by the way, was pretty good for this product. Yeah. So it's
Is it still running?
Huh?
Is it still running?
No, it was actually banned by this social network.
Okay.
But to be honest, I think the thing that when I built it during hackathon, they gave me some API which was not public at that point, and that was also my competitive advantage. It didn't like retract it after the hackathon, so I kept using it. That was really helpful.
And how many years ago was that, more or less? Just to put it in perspective.
Yeah, 10 years now.
10 years, huh?
Wow. Yes, 10 years. Long time.
So 10 years ago, you kind of built your first product, and well, accidentally or maybe not, got to 5 million users or down.
But yeah, to be fair, it was it got 5 million during like next couple of years, I think till 2017. So like roughly like 1 million a year in downloads. So that's
very modest numbers, very small. Yeah, nothing special.
Yeah. It's I think that there was actually a very, very cool experience for me that helped me to understand that you can actually build a business. At that time when I was young, it was not even like on the surface that you can build a startup. It was not, what people around me did during that time. People usually like try to get into Yandex or, get to Google or Facebook or other companies. And that was the way how you sort of supposed to go. But I think if I didn't like participate in this hackathon, I'm not sure if I ended up like building my first company. So then like during the last year of uni, as I mentioned, I was about to go to Bay Area. I got all the tickets, I got the visa to work for Facebook. But then like at the very last moment, me and my friend, we just thought, fuck it. Let's try to build something. That was like financially really at that moment, very stupid decision, obviously, in a way that, we got offered like so much money at Facebook. At that time, we never, saw this money. I came from the very like modest like backgrounds in terms of like family, and we never saw that much money in our lives. But we just realized that let's just try it. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting, and that was my guiding principles all the way. And so once we started in 2015, our core idea was to build consumer products based on some sophisticated technology, like based on ML, AI kind of stuff.
10 years ago, right? Just to put it in perspective, that was very different back then.
It was like so different. Like,
Yes.
and I think like another angle why we decided to do that, we realized that the number of people who were like good at this like stuff was like very limited. So we realized that like if we wanted to go to some of the companies in terms of acquisition, that would be like really appealing if we have a strong team of people who understand how to build like ML systems and essentially like productionalize it, because it was like pretty unique like at that time trait. So we started by our first idea was to kill Google. And
With you or not yet?
it's still alive as far as I know. We'll see after the interview. It's the idea was like to replace in 2015 this like blue ugly links with like Snapchat like search results, because like it's when you ask a question you would want to see the result, not just this like a bunch of like links that look pretty bad.
But kind of like perplexity.
Kind of perplexity, but more I'd say like media oriented. We thought text is not cool. Text is not for like Gen Z.
Well, you were right.
Yeah, I mean, in some way, I think text is still like useful medium. But for obviously, if you can show the media content, then it's better to do so. So we tried to build that. Google survived. We just built like too complicated product. It took us like so much time to launch it. The first version, I think we were building for more than a year, the first version, and we built this, Frankenstein that was very hard to explain.
And you were building like your whole kind of page ranking algorithm all yourself.
More or less. We've been obviously we started with like some limited like algorithms. We've been using also like Bing API under the hood for first versions, but we tried to start building our own indexers. We built like some solutions that help to work with the media. For example, we build a system that can take the long video and find the most like horizontal video and find the most appealing vertical part in it and compile the vertical essentially shorts for this video. Just because like when you searching on the phone, you holding it like this, right? So you have to do the vertical one. So we built a lot of cool stuff around it. Oh, and also one more thing that we built, it was like a system that can solve homework. Because when we were chatting with the customers, with the young audience in the US, they all obviously wanted to have the homework done. So we built that as well. So as you can see,
like, how does that work? I mean, how do you have to imagine this?
Yeah, you take a photo of a math problem, and then we solve it for you.
Really? 10 years ago?
Yeah, it was like 2016, 2017.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And how does that work on a technical level? Like, can you take the picture, do some OCR, you try to figure out what is there, what's not?
Yeah, we did like OCR. We also built the system that can like process the steps after the OCR is done in a way that you obviously when you want to get the solution, you also want to get not just the answer but the steps. So build a system like on device that can do like really efficiently like OCR and like actual solving.
Would you compare to the current LLMs who, I mean, they obviously do this, right? Today you can do an API call with a picture, with a PDF, and it kind of does this and then gives you the reasoning answers. Is it like on a technical level, the similar infrastructure or something completely different?
It was like, I think it was different.
Okay.
It was different in terms of like OCR. It was, I don't remember what was exact architecture of the neural nets, but essentially it was specifically tailored for the text, for the formulas. For the solver, we just had like a big library essentially with rules. It was more like the, if this then then, if this then then, and then for some scenarios we have some sort of automations. So and the big reason for that is we wanted this to run on device, because like first it's like cheaper. You don't have to support the backend and stuff. And second, it's also like more privacy focused. We didn't think about that side back then, but it's just the way how it is. And also potentially it's faster.
And what was the idea to then sell it to students and kind of in a B2C way and make money?
B2C way, basically. Essentially, before Snap, we've been all building B2C products.
And how many in total, just for people to understand how many iterations it actually needs to go to success?
Oh, it's
And how many things failed versus how many things worked?
so many failed. I think just maybe 1.5 thing worked.
Okay.
This actually math
Was a half.
so math app was actually pretty good.
Okay.
For example, there's the company called Photomath that got acquired by Google for $500 million, like I think a few years back. And the idea of Photomath is exactly the same. You take a photo of math problem and they solve it for you. For us, we didn't really realize how big is the potential, but honestly, we could have. For us, it was just like some cash generating business, being meaningful cash at that time. And in terms of like failed attempts, I don't know, maybe six of them failed, 6 iterations failed, and we had to pivot it like pretty often. We had to lay off half of the team.
How big was
times.
the team?
It was just roller coasters. So at the beginning, we obviously started with a very small group. We hired a lot of people, to maybe like 20 people.
Oh wow, still.
Then we launched the product, the search product. It failed. We had to lay off half of the team, maybe even more. Then we hired again. So it was like constant roller coasters. And that was probably, like for me personally, that was the hardest part when we went through, in terms of people, this cycles. But yeah, it was like roughly like 6 times we failed, we pivoted until we found something that works.
And it was always completely different products, or was it like deviations from the previous product, or how did that work?
It was like the products that are along the same lines, B2C, B2C app, mobile, and ML as the core. And we always wanted to build the tech on device as well, because we also really believe that it's on device models are really they have a lot of advantages if you can build something on device.
And how was it back then? Because the devices were very different, right? 10 years ago.
100%.
I mean, today it's pretty easy to run pretty large models actually on your phone. And I think, what is it? You need 4 or 5 these big MacBook, no, not like Mac Pros or whatever Apple has, to run the largest DeepSeek R1 model or something. So it's pretty nuts actually. But back then it wasn't like that at all.
100%. Obviously, it really depends what to build. Like for some use cases, you need like real time. For some use cases, you need to have just this something that works after some like iterations. But obviously, the biggest issue was Android devices, because the fragmentation is crazy. And if you want to build something that works fast, it's you have to make a lot of trade-offs. Obviously, we had like different essentially different algorithms for different devices, which was necessary back then.
Interesting. Okay, so basically in a timeline right now, we are kind of in the phase where you build a couple of things, 90% fail, and not all of them fail, luckily, but you just kept going until you reached to kind of, or you found your one thing in a way, right?
So like honestly with you, like after like there's like six failed iterations, we were like, fuck it, let's just build something that can be sold. Initially we wanted to like build like, something crazy like decacords, gazillion billion-dollar companies, but then we just wanted to build something that can be sold eventually to one of the big players. And it doesn't mean that you can build just the tech. You still have to build some product, ideally that have some traction, that can be then like sold to one of those companies. So we went to one of the like conferences, looking for this like ideas, like tech ideas that can be implemented and wrapped in the very simple use case. And we went to one of the conferences. There was like this like demo about like face reenactment. So we realized, wow, that's actually pretty cool. We can build something around it. So we started to experiment, and the idea, I think we found the idea pretty quickly, that we realized that people really love to see their faces in some like content, because people really love to see their faces in general. People love themselves. It's one of the big like takeaways from the whole like journey. Very obvious ones, but a lot of products are based on this idea. So we just realized we can like take the people's face and put it in some like content, like images, like stickers, like videos, and that content can be used both for entertainment. People share it with their friends, post on like Instagram, or it can be used for advertising as well, for monetization. You can imagine like movie trailer where you're like Spider-Man, you're part of some like movie, and so we started like to experiment with this tech. Like initially, obviously, it was like pretty shitty technology. We for example, I had to go to the shopping malls with my laptop, come to random people and ask them if they want to try this, product. It was like a few times I got approached by the security in the shopping mall. So I had to say that I'm doing like some social questionnaire. But it was fun. It was fun. It was like pretty slow demo, pretty sketchy, but we immediately saw that people really like to see like that kind of animation with their faces. So we ended up building product around it.
So basically, long story short, you are the guy who kind of built not only, but the dog filter on Snap, and among other things, right? Because that's when I really, for the first time, understand, wow, this is actually pretty interesting, pretty cool. And kind of the technology part in the background is based on something like this, right?
I have to disappoint you. I'm not the one who built this specific filter. But there was a previous company that got acquired by Snapchat that actually launched this thing. But we built a lot of like similar things. Our team, a lot of different like effects, content inside like Snap, which was like super viral, where we essentially create like the shows and videos with people's faces in it.
Oh yeah, I remember that one also.
Yeah, it's and a lot of others. Actually, it was cool time at Snap because we were building across different surfaces.
But before that, it was kind of in your own app, right? Or was it a Snap add-on from the very beginning?
Yeah, it was a separate app. The app was like pretty simple.
Yeah.
You take a selfie, and then we create a bunch of content with your face in it.
Yeah.
Like, but I think this was a separate app, and then we integrated into Snapchat, launched it within this like feature called Cameos at Snap, and I think our product shined at Snap much more than when it was like a separate product, because it's imagine you're chatting with your friends, and you have to set up this like selfie just once, and then in this sticker drawer you see stickers with your face and face of your friends like immediately without like any setup, because like essentially everyone set up the selfie once. So I think it really shined when such product really shine when they part of large ecosystem.
Of course. But that was the kind of post-acquisition, right?
Yeah, that was
So,
most acquisition.
obviously they buy you and then you integrate it, not the other way around, right?
Yeah. So we initially like build the tech
Yeah.
for face animation, we put it also on device,
Mhm.
which was very important
Mhm.
step for us in
Mhm.
terms of like the costs
Mhm.
and also in terms of like some privacy considerations because we wanted to process the face on the device. We wrapped it in the app,
Mhm.
like launched the app, got some traction, and then got approached by Snap, and did some, you know, conversations with them.
But how, I want to really wonder, how does that look like? So I don't know, do you get an email from the guy, hey, this looks cool, let's meet? Or do you anyway know them beforehand? Like, can you really walk me through how does this process work?
For us, one of our main investors, he was like pretty much connected to the CEO of Snapchat,
Mhm.
and he organized the meeting with him, and then it all started from there.
Got it.
But if you take this, type of products, such as ours, I've known the stories, very different stories how this acquisition happens. Obviously, some people do the like roadshow, like with different companies, like show them
Mhm.
and then try to build the acquisition case from it. I know one company that got approached on LinkedIn and um, and then got acquired after that. I mean, pretty big public US company, also similar product as ours. And so yeah, in our case, it was like proactive. We just wanted to meet with CEO of Snap because we also understood like that it's for such product, it's close to impossible to become like the unicorns or the good like strategy is just to get some traction and sail at the peak.
And how much traction you had there already by the time
Yeah.
this conversation starts?
Yeah, we actually that was funny because like we had some like commercial traction because we partnered with a few companies in terms of advertising. But in terms of like consumer product, we had like we just launched the product. The metrics were really good, but Snap asked us to hold the further rollout because they wanted to capture this virality themselves.
So that was after this first meeting, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And how does it feel? So you go into this meeting,
yeah.
CEO of Snapchat, founder, right?
Yeah.
Of Snapchat. Like, are you nervous? How do you feel?
Yeah.
Was it physical? Was it online back then? Like, can you walk me through the emotions? Because honestly, I mean, I'm not a guy who gets nervous, but I think on that level, I would.
Uh, it's honestly that was the meeting I was preparing to the most in my life.
Yeah.
We've been like polishing the deck like so many times that was like it was literally perfect. We've been like practicing like so many times. But when I came to the meeting, I felt like pretty comfortable. Just like he's also like very chilled, nice guy, and I think and also super smart. Um, and I think he made it like very welcoming, the whole like meeting. Um, and it was in Paris, and I think he came to Paris to meet Macron the same day. And yeah,
That was the second most important meeting that day for him.
probably yes. Yeah, actually, he came to meet us and then to meet the other guy later. But then like once this meeting ended, we then spent like many months doing the like test integration with Snap,
Yeah.
doing the conversation, and
But so the decision was made there on the
no,
spot.
it was not made there. It was the decision to keep the conversation going because they had a lot of concerns, like reasonable concerns. If we can integrate it in a quick manner, if that's not gonna blow up the size of the app, so we just wanted to like you know uh, resolve these concerns and make the deal.
And how long was it from first meeting in Paris, right before Macron,
8 months.
to 8 months, huh?
8 months. It was a long time.
And that was a terrible 8 months, I guess, right?
That's actually not true.
No?
Yeah.
I get so stressed that whole time, oh, what if it doesn't work? What if it does work? Oh my God.
I mean, maybe I'm a weird guy. Because I was honestly never driven by money, and I actually felt that was like one of the like till that moment one of the biggest like challenges in my life. To I was mostly trying to like solve this on the technical side back then, because it was like not trivial to come to such a large company as Snap and try to integrate it into their like infrastructure. Obviously, you can imagine Snap is like 10 different apps within one,
Of course.
and it's like super complicated.
Yeah.
So I was very energized to tackle this. We've been sent like to Utah, where Snapchat has, I think, still has office.
Mhm.
It was like, have you been to Utah? Never. It's
But I can imagine.
it's a very remote place. Obviously, Salt Lake City is a big town, but then we went to Lehigh, which is like 1 hour drive from Utah, from Salt Lake City, and this place is literally it feels very different compared to like big cities. So we were the only thing that we did there is actually just sit and work.
That's very empty there, probably.
Yeah, true. So yeah, I was very energized. I think obviously there was like some challenges along the way, but I just remembered this time as one of the happiest time, I think. Yeah. So
Even happier than after the whole thing is done, because it was so exciting for you to really finally build it into the big system you wanted it to be, right?
yeah, it's honestly like after the deal actually happened and I got the first money on my bank account, I didn't feel much. I felt like, yeah, it's cool. I can afford like much more. But at the same time, I, I don't really I don't really learn how to celebrate well things like this. So
I'm with you there.
once it happens, I think I immediately started to think how to bring more value to Snap, how to integrate it, how to. We had like already like a huge roadmap inside Snap, and I was really pumped about it as well.
So one day you wake up, open your mobile phone, and it's there,
Yeah.
and it feels normal.
I mean, in the moment, it feels great, right? Obviously, but then it quickly
What is quickly here? 30 minutes, 1 hour, 1 day.
I think one day it's just like this um pleasure of having that many money disappears. And also like I had a few things that I wanted to do with the money. For example, I buy the apartment for my mom and the nice car for my dad. I think once I did that, it just felt like, all right, let's just it's nice to have this money, but it doesn't bring like a lot of happiness.
And your dad is still cruising around in that car.
Yeah,
He loves it.
yeah, he loves it. He loves it. He loves it. Yeah.
And what was their reaction? I mean, they obviously they knew before, right? Yeah. And they comes, like, they must have been pretty pumped. Not because of the money, but just because, I mean, they are the reason that you are here, right? And
100%.
they impacted so many people, basically.
100%. They are obviously one of the biggest, most important factor why I'm here, and they were like all the way like really supportive. I have like such an amazing like relationship with my parents, and yeah, I think they felt very happy as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And what do you think that is? Because I honestly, I remember the first big money I made, I maybe was 17, 18 back then, when I was basically developing software for other companies. And I really remember, I mean, not in the millions, but a good chunk of money landed in the account, and I really felt happy for around 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
30 seconds, I swear to God. I remember the exact moment. I was sitting on it was kind of like a balcony that was covered. We have the lot in Switzerland. I look at it, I'm like, wow, cool. Feels great. And then it's all gone for some reason. And you're
100%.
completely back to normal.
100%.
So in a way, it's just the amount, it amplifies that duration maybe, but at the end, you 100% go back to your baseline.
100%. I think like the only thing that I realized about money, that I really like about money, is that I can impact so many people, obviously in a different way. For example, I'm investing quite heavily in startups right now. I think I made 35 angel investments till date, and I think obviously I wouldn't have done that without the capital on my bank account. So I think it's it's still like, don't get me wrong, it's you. I think you still have to earn money. It's a nice like tool, but not the end goal.
Yeah, I think that's really important to understand, because I think many people who kind of haven't embarked on this entrepreneurial journey, this is really the driver.
Yeah.
Of course, it's completely wrong. Like literally after half a year, 1 year, you really understand this. And at the beginning, you might not. You might think, okay, what are people saying? No, it's actually, it feels great. It's good. It's good. But at some point, I think it's really, what is the passion? And what really, you get up in the morning and what can you build? What can you do with your skill?
100%.
And I think this, yeah, in a way, the money doesn't really matter, actually, at the end, probably.
100%.
I mean, you can probably even tell much, much better than me, but the way I feel, I mean, I'm also comfortable, and it's great, but it's not, not the main thing, you know? It's not what really, I don't know, triggers this brain chemistry in your brain that actually makes you happy, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's actually good to know that on even the larger scale, it feels the same, because people shouldn't chase that, you know? They should chase, doing cool things, leveraging their
100%.
skills with great passion, really building things. And that must be the guiding principle.
Yeah, and I'm curious to hear your experience. But I think it's so essentially when the money is the only or the main driver, it makes it like much harder to go through this, like, hiccups that are gonna go through along the way. What's your experience, by the way, with the fails? How did you go through them?
Well, it sucks every single time, right? But it's if you can kind of step out of it in the moment, you realize it's not that bad. And
Yeah.
so many worse things could happen, you know? I'm
100%
kind of like
agree.
a worst case theorist, you know, which is good, but also terrible at the same time. It helps you, but it can also hurt you. And yeah, I just try to zoom out, look at the really big picture, look at where I'm right now versus where I was 6 months. Did anything change? Well, not really. If anything, for the better. I learned more things. And yeah, then usually for me, when I have a really, really, really tough day, whatever it might have been, I don't know, investors are not happy about, I don't know, product development or this or that, you really crash one evening. But honestly, the more I crash one evening, the next day when I wake up, I'm hyper pumped. And I don't know what it is. But the harder I crash one day because
Yeah.
some stupid, silly thing happened, the better I get up the next day. And that's actually for me really the definition of an entrepreneur: resilience. You gotta keep going. And you're,
100%.
no matter how hard you get hit. I mean, look at you. You've got hit 6, 7 times, 8 times, right? With products that,
I'm still getting hit a lot of
exactly, we're all getting hits every single day, basically. And I think this is the one thing.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And,
Yeah.
and for me, really, what I measure it these days is when I wake up and I'm pumped to open my laptop. Those things I should do more, because there's so many things that you are really not pumped on your laptop. I don't know how you see it, but for me, there's 2 or 3 there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I think like this like simple concept of this like complex percent 1% better every day. I think it's kind of obvious right now, but I think it's still like a lot of people don't appreciate it deeply. And even I think like myself, sometimes I feel like I should in some ways push a little bit like further. And I think like the most success stories that I know, this like people who went through obviously like a long journey of like of fails of this like disappointments of like zero revenue, zero customers like for many years. And then like for example like one of one of the guys I'm really inspired by, the founder of Mirror. I think for Mirror, right? He's originally also from Russia. Now they based in Amsterdam. So it's, I think, for, as far as I know, I could be wrong, but as far as I know, like for 5 years they had exactly the same number of customers, 0. And then it's obviously, they found the product market fit, then the COVID happened as well, which obviously helped them quite a lot. But still, it's just, imagine having like 0 customers for 5 years. It's kind of,
It's very hard. I think after 1 year, most people break.
yeah. I think at the same time they had some like marketing, but still like when you're building the product and you don't see like the
Yeah.
the result for so many years, it's just it's a huge admiration from my side.
I mean, every person I know who's done something, the one thing that combines them into a bucket is really they just don't give up.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's as simple as that.
100%.
And it's probably the tricky thing is actually finding something
Yeah.
that you don't want to give up on.
Yeah.
That's much easier said than done, of course. But
100%.
well, it looks like you found that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's um mm, so in the, but back to the story. Um it's been a journey. It's been a journey. But I think like since my as I mentioned before, my core like thing that drives me is just I think the whole like interest in building something.
Yeah.
And also
Where
the
do you think that
the
comes from? Because for me, I feel the exact same way. I cannot explain to you why and how and what, but I don't know, when I can build something where nothing was before, it feels it's the most peaceful and beautiful and blissful feeling in the absolute world.
100%. Uh, that's a good question. I think it's more. I would assume it's a combination of like your natural like tendencies and the things that happened to you when you were young. Um, for for me, like for example, like one of I think one of the part of it is also being like fairly competitive. Um, in a way that you don't want like settle on the like some average stuff. Like for me, for example, being competitive, I guess came from even my like kindergarten. I remember when we were eating when we had the lunch in the kindergarten, I was always trying to finish my porridge first.
Very healthy.
And yes, and once, sorry for this information. Once I vomited to the back to the to the plate, but still I finished first. So that part I think is just like, yeah, it's been formed when you were when you're younger. In terms of like uh the appreciation for building, what do you think? Where does it come from?
Honestly, I cannot really answer. I thought about this a lot, but I don't know what it is. But it's like you get into this deep focused state where nothing else exists and you really forget about the other things. And I don't know, it's really different for many people, but for me, it's just building these systems that they look beautiful, they feel beautiful.
100%.
You know, the right keyboard shortcut at the right spot, at the right thing. Everything is just right, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's probably about perfectionism. Yes. Because I think you can build pretty simple tools that just are perfect. You know, and many people will find it useful. Many
Yeah.
people will find it useful. And I'm actually not even sure if it's the actual building part or if it's the kind of effect part, you know, that once you launch it, people are using it. For me, it's definitely the first part because
Yeah.
I mean, right now I see that my medical AI company, we really have a lot of throughput, you know, into the system, but I don't really feel anything. You know, there actually, honestly, I don't feel anything. Like
Interesting.
you see, well, a lot of, for example, in our specific niche, it's a lot of report generations. You know, we generate medical reports, right? A lot, and it doesn't do anything. If anything, it's a pain in the ass because it means I don't know if you have a couple of thousands a day that goes through. The likelihood of something going wrong in one of these, it's quite high. So you always have a guy who's unhappy, right? But the actual building part is really, yeah, it's just you go out and you try to make the best possible thing. And the kind of the effect of that is people using it. But for me, it's really definitely in the first bucket. But I don't know why, I don't know how. I just it's this feeling that I get, you know, and I can build.
Yeah, interesting. You also mentioned about the that you feel, the stuff that you build is beautiful. I think it's also a big part of it, just appreciation for the uh
Mhm.
for something being beautiful. And I think it's like for me at least, it's a big um part of my life, trying to find this beauty in different things. Obviously, when and sometimes it's not easy to find the beauty. You only you can get to the point only when you go through like some some past when you get good enough in something. So I don't know. I think yeah, it's a combination of all these things,
Mhm.
and it's great that you also feel it. And I'm totally with you.
I almost look at it from an kind of artistic perspective. For me, it's really, you create art, technical art.
100%.
And
100%.
that sounds so stupid and so silly for someone who's not doing that.
Yeah.
But I think for you, it will really resonate.
Oh man,
It's digital art.
100%. 100%. I think building business is the art statement.
Yeah.
In many ways,
Yeah.
and that's why I also like it. And that's also why I like the programming as well. It's also like a form of art. It's the I think it's the process where you apply your creativity to build something which didn't exist before or wouldn't have existed without you is purely beautiful, and that is like 100% applicable to building a business, building a software, or just creating some I don't know, song, or it's
Yeah.
I think it's quite similar feelings.
I agree. And I think just with software, with tech, you really have this huge leverage.
Yeah.
If you actually do build something, literally, if it runs on your local machine, and if you're not too stupid, you can deploy that on very, very, very big scales with, millions of users these days. It's not hard anymore, the infrastructure part. And this is just pretty damn cool, that it can go from literally you as one person to, and okay, not infinite, but a very large finite number of people in this whole world, and kind of this art process of getting there. At first there's nothing, and then the first step, it still looks shit, it feels like shit, it behaves like shit, the software, and really kind of approximating that perfection up to the point where people really use it. And I think it's really the road is the goal, or however you're going to say that.
Yeah.
And this is the beautiful thing.
100%.
Yeah.
And what is also beautiful, I think, is just like different people like different things, which sounds again obvious, but I think that's the um the thought that took for example for me a while to understand that different people are motivated by different things, like truly on the deep level. Because like when I was, I think, like 25 years old, I thought, how could you possibly don't want to win in anything? I was only expecting other people to have the same mentality, winning or nothing, right? But then I realized it's like different people. Like some people value, I don't know, like family time. Some people want to like spend like less time working, more time, I don't know, just doing their stuff, which is also fine. And getting back to the original point about different people, sometimes I meet people who like say to themselves that they're good like in this like 0 to 1 process, and I think those people are more like, they tend to like this like creativity part a little bit more. And sometimes I meet the people who consider themselves like 1 to like 100. And those are, I think, people who find the beauty in a little bit like different things, like, improving the system, improving the process.
But you are definitely 0 to 1 person, right?
I think
From
so.
what I see.
I think so.
Me too.
I mean, I really like 0 to 1 process. I don't think I dislike 1 to 100, but I think I like 0 to 1 more. And you as well as
Yeah, me too. I mean, I also don't dislike kind of the scaling process, but the real fun is when honestly no one is using it yet, and you actually have to make it work.
100%. And navigating this uncertainty is really fun.
Yeah. The harder it gets, the more fun. Very often.
Yeah.
What's the biggest leverage you found after kind of going through this whole process, having all these abilities? And I don't just mean money. I kind of mean leverage. Okay, you probably got introduced to a new network, to new people, obviously also to new money, to new opportunities. What was your way to deploy all of that? Is it a bit of still creating at Snapchat? Is it a charity? Is it family? Is it all of this? Is it nothing? Like, how do you navigate through all of that?
I think like the biggest like difference right now, obviously, is that we live in the world of like labels and badges still. I don't think I fully agree with it, but this is the reality right now. And obviously, when you have a couple of badges like, exit to Snap, or like, Forbes 30 and the 30, it's that kind of stuff. It just like helps to, I think, helps to find people like, or attract people like much easier. on the first stage. But then I think it still comes down to your, like your skill set, your ability to, be, like predictable, trustworthy, like smart, and so on. So I think like the biggest like difference leverage is just like this like first um
The first step. Basically.
first step.
Yeah.
And that's one. And second, I think it's just like from the different perspective. I think since I went through the whole the different experiences in my life, I've been in big tech as a software engineer. I've been in the startups as the founder. But when you're a founder, you do a lot of different things, right? I've been doing like sales. I've been doing like customer discovery. I've been doing like marketing, different stuff, and obviously tech as well. Um, and and then I've been a manager at Snap. I think what I find the biggest, um, the most like impactful thing for me personally is ability to transfer this like knowledge and experience to people with a similar background as myself. Especially people who came from like the technical backgrounds, who want like to build something, who want to start their own company. And I think I can resonate really well with those people and with their like problems, with their like questions that they have in their heads. And I think getting back to the original question, it's I think this obviously labels that just they help to get through this first step, and then just transfer my experience to these people.
I really saw this too with the Forbes thing. It opens you, like, it's a silly badge, honestly, but it opens you
super silly bit.
so many doors.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me right now, there's kind of the two badges. There's the university. Kind of, you have a technical background. This, honestly, I hate to say it, but it really helped me. Also with fundraising, with all the technical questions. Just kind of the baseline was, yeah, Enrico knows what he's doing,
Yeah.
and that really helped. But then also the Forbes thing, it really, it's much easier to get an intro. Literally, you write someone on LinkedIn, usually they reply, which usually is not the case, but in that case they do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree with that. And so you say really the only benefit, or one of the few benefits you got out of this, is the first step is easier.
Yeah.
Kind of the whole other thing is the same.
I mean, I think, that's a good question. Maybe I didn't like leverage it well enough yet, but I've been leveraging in the ways that I find interesting for myself. And one of the big like thing in my life is just ability to meet a lot of great people, because I'm generally interested in how people think, how people approach their problems, how people build their businesses, and the ability to meet like many more people, and as a result help more people, it's like really valuable for me.
How do you approach this actually, very concretely? Because for me, where I stand, I would really love to help kind of more young entrepreneurs who are just getting started, who are about to do many silly mistakes, and really help them navigate that journey. I don't really know where to start, honestly. I don't really know where to start. Have you figured out that part?
Yeah. So it's I approach it from different perspectives. The first perspective is like through like angel investing. Um, when I started like angel investing, I didn't even realize that it might have such a network effect. So let's say you helped like one founder or invested in like one company, then you've been like added to the deck, like in the like investor slide. So other people, other founders, they also like know that they come to you, and potentially they could partner with you and help with and you can help them. So like since I've invested in like so many companies now, like 35 roughly, it makes the whole like flow of projects and like requests for investments just become very very natural. So that's one. And once invested, I usually either have like some ad hoc conversations, or sometimes I just like find something that can help with the founder, or like recently I just like helped one of the founders to get introduced to a lot of like tier one funds, like maybe 5 or 6, to get the better deals from the one that they initially chatted with. So that's one type of help. Like second is I think like naturally I do have many people in Eastern European community who heard about our success, and sometimes they just come to me, like write the message on LinkedIn or on Telegram, and that's like another way how I got approached by the very smart people. Usually, actually, people who write is the people who actually want to do something. They were not shy to message, and that is another way. Third, recently, myself and a few other people, we built the startup house in London. It started as just the co-working space for us, for a few entrepreneurs, but then we quickly realized a lot of people want to have this like place as the place for meeting with other fellow founders, builders, like network, like have some conversations. So we built the community around it. It quickly grew to, I think, 325 people. And in this community, we have quite a lot of very young, very talented entrepreneurs. For example, the day I met one of them, and we had just very natural conversation. We're discussing the go-to-market. We're discussing how to approach the fundraising process. So, yeah, I think those are like different ways how I communicate with and try to help young founders. And yeah, at the end of the day, I'm really enjoying it. That's one of the coolest thing.
Yeah, the startup world is really beautiful. Everyone helps each other, I noticed.
Yeah.
Really, like if you ask an entrepreneur, hey, can you help me? He will figure out a way. He will make time. He will really do it if he's really if he's really an entrepreneur who's gone from zero to something.
Yeah.
And that I really see in you too, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there someone who helped you along the way the most?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Basically, when I was in school back then, I was 15 or 16, and we started organizing these. Think of it like mini TED talks, with founders. So basically, me and my friend back then, we wanted to become entrepreneurs. I think we read 1 or 2 business books too many.
Amazing.
And
15 years old.
15, yeah.
I didn't know entrepreneurship existed back then.
Yeah. And then we started saying, okay, how can we do this? Like, we have no idea. I mean, we're 15. We don't know anything, we were honest about it. We don't know anything, anyone, nothing, right? They were like, okay, what would be a pretty smart move to invite entrepreneurs who've done it to our school, and we will meet them. They will introduce us to others. They will hold the talks there. And it turned out these people were super, super open. Like, if you're 15 years old and you come with a pure heart and ask an entrepreneur, hey, can you please help us? We want to borrow 30 minutes of your time for a quick talk at our school. Just tell us what you've done, how you've done it. Of course, today you could do everything digital. Back then, not really. That was really kind of the very first step. And these people, they helped us. I remember one guy, he gave us at that time, I think 20K or something of,
Oh, really?
just, hey guys, you are cool. Here's 20,000. Go and build this thing. And the thing was just, we invite other entrepreneurs to the school to hold talks. It was nothing fancy whatsoever. But that's where I realized, wow, these people this is a good community,
Interesting.
And then from there on, I met a couple of entrepreneurs, amazing entrepreneurs through that, kind of local entrepreneurs, not the ones you would read in the, I don't know, Wall Street Journal, but really local entrepreneurs who have small to medium-sized companies,
Right.
who are doing a great thing inside of the community.
Amazing.
And I remember this one guy that I met. He was really the starting point who introduced me to so many things, so many people. And I think if I wasn't there at that time, at that point, life could really have taken a completely different turn. Completely. And I can basically point back all of the dots that are now connected. They kind of started back then. And I had no idea back then, of course. And he had no idea back then, of course, too. I think he still doesn't know it today that this was such an important moment. You know?
Really? Are you in touch with him?
Yeah, of course I am. Of course. I mean, I try to tell it, but yeah. And I don't know. Sometimes you just go with the flow. You just try to learn. I think try to figure it out, and then yeah, one thing led to the other. I mean, through kind of this setup, I found one guy who was able to give me an internship in Silicon Valley in a startup.
Amazing.
And I was very young back then, maybe 17, 18-ish. I was alone in San Francisco. I didn't know anyone for, I think, a month, literally in school holidays. And yeah, I mean, I had to then become a man, you know, you have to meet people, you have to go out, you have to talk, you have to do this, to do that. And yeah, then I really took that energy back to Switzerland. I knew that's exactly what I'm going to do. And it's, I don't know, sometimes the silliest things when you're 15 years old and you don't plan anything, you know, you don't plan it at all. You just do one step after the other that feels right.
Yeah.
And for some reason, you end up at the right spot at the right time when you have to, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's actually very interesting. And this 20K that you got, was it just like a donation or a grant, or you put it in the business?
It was a gift
wonder-
for him, and we just kept organizing.
Amazing. Wow.
Kept organizing events with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. It was an entrepreneur. He was in the construction industry. Not even a fancy tech entrepreneur, you know, just a very normal, lovely, probably older guy. Maybe he was 50 back then, something like this, 55. And yeah, he just wanted to help. I don't know. He just wanted to help. And that was my experience with all of those people, you know, they wanted to help. They were so happy to help. And that's kind of, I'm trying to find these young people, you know, and really, if they need help, I think all of us here are open. You know, if there's any kind of link of, hey, Greg knows this guy, I know that guy, I think we're always happy to help, because you just don't know, you know, you might help one kid and it might just change the world. And it's as silly as it sounds, you know, silly as it sounds, but it's really true.
100%. And I think like I've recently defined like more precisely the group that I think I can help the most at this point. It's the tech people who are right now working in like big tech companies, like fan like companies, and who want to start their company. And so if you're this person, just message me. And I think like quite often these people already went through like such a big like filters. Like for example, some people who like working right now with like Facebook or Meta or Google here in London that I know from the school, and obviously I know what they went through. Like they, you know, went through the competition at high school, and like, you know, in the university, they, you know, got the job at the like big tech in Eastern Europe, and then they get the job at, you know, like in big tech and in London, which is a huge path already. And I think those kind of people, I think they have the you know, quite a huge potential to build something in specific business.
I'm also in that niche, I would say, really. The tech guys, now I would even go further. I would say generalists, you know, who are tech savvy, who have a beautiful eye for design, who have common sense, you know, that's oftentimes enough. Now is the time. Now is the time to build.
But it's really hard to find those people.
I know.
Really hard.
But they're out there, I'm pretty sure. And now these people, they can replace whole development teams. Yeah, I know we might not like to hear it because we kind of have a development background ourselves, but these people who can now use and leverage these tools, whew, I think we'll see a lot of 5 to 7, 8 people companies who can compete with the big ones, you know, big ones, 2, 3, 400 people companies, just by really leveraging the AI. Right.
Do you believe in this like thesis of one person like unicorn company?
I love it, even. I love it. For me, the term I use is like this indie hacker, you know, and those are the coolest people. You know, this is the purest form of entrepreneurship. You go out, find the problem, solve it, build it, scale it, sell it, refine it, make it better. It doesn't, like, I get goosebumps when I talk about it. No, it doesn't get any better. For me, this is the purest form of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
100%.
when do you think we're gonna see the first company that is built by one person, which becomes the unicorn or like decacorn? I know this is a
Well,
hard prediction, but
unicorn, I'm not sure. Unicorn, I'm not sure because I think at some point you're gonna need some people, just at some point. But I think we're gonna see a lot of those companies, one man shows, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, who can they can create hundreds of millions in revenue. This I 100% believe.
Mhm.
Maybe we will see a unicorn with one person. I mean, I never got that question asked. Actually, it's a good one,
Uh-huh.
but I don't think that will happen honestly because I think if you go to that level, there's just too much complexity to handle for one person.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard enough if you have small business, if you're medium-sized business and a large business, but then unicorn business, kind of $1 billion business. Because this guy would need to do the tech, the fundraising, the sales, the everything, and even just the fundraising part. For a unicorn startup, it'll be a full-time job, triple full-time job.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that, but there will be a lot of small teams building a lot of cool things. In a way, a bit what you're doing right now, right?
Yeah, I actually believe that it's gonna be the company which is run by like one person, which can be around like unicorn within the next like 5 years. Um, it's just like I feel like we're just like slowly approaching the state when more and more functions in the startup in the organization are like automated. Right now, I think the most of the money goes into automation of software engineers. Uh, maybe you've heard like some of the like predictions that like till the end of the year, like most of the code, like 95% of the code is like written by AI. Actually, I think YC they posted the numbers that 95% of the code by YC companies is written by AI. I would I'm slightly doubtful about this specific number, but the trend is very clear. So within the next couple of years, we're gonna have more and more autonomous software engineer. So within next years, we're gonna have more and more autonomous and better reasoning agents for marketing, for designer, and for other like functions. And I think once you have best designer in the world, best marketer in the world, best software engineer in the world in the form of agent.
Yeah.
You hire all of them,
Yeah.
and your goal is only to provide them money for compute,
Yeah.
essentially to provide them food,
Yeah.
and then just navigate them a little bit, or maybe just don't do anything and they just come up with some stuff by themselves. I think we will see like huge businesses around it. Like I think like for example, you might be able like to see companies in like financial space, like trading, algo trading, that could go could go to this like stage, or some just unsexy niches which I don't know right now, but I'm sure they exist that can be you know um, that can be fixed and solved with that kind of architecture.
But so your prediction is these agents will run fully hands off, and we are kind of just checking in once in a while with them.
Yeah, especially agents which are fully operated in digital space,
Yep.
and especially the ones which are sort of like input output, which are like a lot of jobs right now, input output.
Of course.
And I think since as soon as the reasoning gets better, they will become more and more capable of building the products independently. So yeah, I'm 100% sure it's going to be the case within next 5 years.
And how would you describe the space right now? Because the way I see it, I mean, I've played a bit, not a bit, a lot around with Cursor the last,
Yeah.
well, basically since it launched, kind of,
Yeah.
maybe a few months after, but really, I got on the hype train immediately, and I'm addicted.
Yeah.
Like, man, I wake up in the morning and that's the thing I want to do. Like I'm not sure if it's good or bad. My wife says I'm a bit crazy, but I really love it. And
Yeah.
right now, you still need a technical background to use it.
100%.
At first, I tried to just talk to it without checking the code, but it's going to make very silly mistakes, especially kind of at the very early stage when it's the most important. Like, how am I going to structure this whole architecture of this thing I'm trying to build, So your prediction is we'll go from that to it's going to figure out everything by itself within 5 years.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's obviously it's very hard to predict.
Mhm.
And I'm usually very bad at predictions. Sometimes I'm just my predictions are too conservative. Usually when I say 5 years, it happens in
Yeah, fair
2.5,
enough.
3 years.
Fair enough.
Uh, but I think yeah, I've seen like different like ways how um it can be um automated. Like for example, if we can imagine the like microservice architecture, and within each like microservice, you can put like the essentially the code. Uh, and if it's like granular enough, you can imagine like that the age is going to be able to write some part of your like software business, and if there's going to be the sort of the architecture agent that can
Mhm.
sort of
Mhm.
orchestrate all of those, I don't see why it couldn't be built. And then um, the state of agents right now, obviously, as you mentioned, like you have like the cursor, which still requires like the technical knowledge to operate, because it's quite often it just comes to the state when something doesn't work, or even with the agent, right? And you have to have some level of technical understanding, especially when you're building something more complicated. And on the opposite, side of the spectrum, you have like Lovable Bolt, which can help you
Mhm.
to create some prototype pretty quickly,
Mhm.
or some like simple product.
Which is your favorite here? I'm sure you probably all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm using Lovable
Yeah.
sometimes. In terms of like there's like tools like Cursor is the one I'm using, daily.
Mhm.
Um,
And how are you using it? Are you really using the agent mode, or are you just
yeah.
pressing tab for your own code?
It depends. Like for example, like yesterday, like last 2 days, I've been just doing like some Facebook S library, like you know,
Mhm.
uh, scrapers, and I've been using agent all the time. I think I didn't write single lot of code. I've been just asking agent to do something, then wait, then come back and wait.
Yeah.
There were like some things that I think having technical experience helped me a lot to resolve like quicker.
Mhm.
But generally, I built the whole like thing with agent. But again, in the previous project that I've built, um, it was like the architecture was pretty complicated, and uh, the LLMs didn't know all the tools that I was using. For example, I've been using like Google Cloud, and there was like some workflows, and it has like special like scripting language, and it didn't work well with this like scripting language. It always came up with some things that either didn't compile, or didn't that were not aligned with the latest like
Yeah.
syntax of this language.
Yeah.
So I think like for more complicated projects, I feel like right now need to be a technical person. For like easier projects, you can do the agent mode and magically do whatever you want. What's your experience?
Well, the craziest thing that actually happened last week, I had a little hackathon actually with the producer of the podcast. He's kind of handling everything in the background,
Nice.
and he has a background. I mean, many years ago of front end engineering, but then he didn't touch code so much, and he was able to build within, I think, 1.5 days of just going back to coding with Cursor. He built like a his own habit tracker slash notes taking tool, not something he wants to release, but just for himself. And the craziest thing I saw, the AI basically built him a search function without using any libraries, a search function where it kind of put all of his notes in a vector space. And then if you write, I don't know, I had a great drive in a Ferrari, then you search for the term car, it actually showed you the note,
Mm.
And all of this was done by AI. And I was like looking at him like, what the hell just happened? Because of course, I understand what is happening on a technical point of view, but how can you, with 2 or 3 prompts, build this,
Right.
with 1 or 2 days of just playing around a bit with it? And now we're really at the stage where we say, wow, we need to literally lock ourselves in the room, 3, 4, 5 people, and just figure this thing out and just play around with it and really try to build things. And now we kind of have this one app a month is the thing going on, where all of us try to build one app a month.
That's pretty cool.
Some do, I don't know. For example, now the producer, he's kind of building this, habit tracker / task list. I'm kind of building this this voice-enabled AI system that is kind of like your to-do list replacement. Another guy is building like this prospect disqualification tool that basically tells you, given all the resources it finds online, is this lead actually valuable for your company or not? So many different things. And the progress you can do within 2 or 3 days of doing that is really comparable to the progress you can have with months of software development with a
Yeah.
reasonable team, 3, 4, 5 people, you know? So we're still figuring that out. But what's happening right now is remarkable. And I've never been so excited for technology as I am today, because I can literally open my laptop and I can build anything. And I'm an okay developer. You know, I'm not the best, I'm not the worst. I'm literally right in the middle. But I understand the whole concept. You know, I know how a beautiful UX UI must feel and look like. I know, I kind of, on a very generalist kind of way, I know how the software architecture should be. I know how the deployment should look like. I know what needs to be automated and so on. But I have never done it, you know, and now just by knowing how it would work technically, I can actually do it. And you can really deploy the things. And yeah, I'll keep you posted how this goes. But
Yeah.
we are,
Interesting.
all of us were hyped as fuck, really. You cannot imagine.
And what are you doing with the products that you built? You want to monetize? You want to use it for yourself? What's the thing you want to do next?
Well, we're still kind of in the figuring out phase there, but the high level idea is we kind of want to build a company on top, and then kind of sub companies for each product, and then really try to sell them, but with one
Nice.
kind of central distribution channel. But really trying to do this for now, mostly B2C stuff, also a couple of B2B, but mostly B2C. And and just trying to monetize with X, with some YouTube ads, with just kind of whatever, you know. And it's not even about the output at the end. It's more about, we are able to go through the whole process of, there's nothing, there's something, there's a lot. We're selling it, we're refining it, we're doing this, we're doing that. Instead of a year, it takes us a month, you know? So literally 12 weeks instead of 12 months, you know? And this, to me, I fully agree with you. There will be a lot of companies, if they're 1 or 2 people, doesn't matter at the end, or 5 or 10, a lot of small companies who really build amazing things. And I'm hyped up for this, you know? I haven't been excited for technology like this in ever. I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you see that?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly the same. I feel like it's it's gonna be like more extreme. As I mentioned, I think they're gonna be the companies that are built by just a few like very talented people who can orchestrate all these things. I think like with the next phase, you're gonna have people who know how to architect the software, and all these, you know, like pieces, they're gonna be filled with the code by AI. And in that case, I think with like 1 or 2 like technical people, you can build whatever you want almost. Even like before, it was like pretty different in terms of like the team size and the product that it can build. For example, you know, Telegram. Telegram is the 30-person company.
I love that. I know. Yeah.
While I don't know, a lot of other companies, they're huge. They have like thousands of people like in this similar space, which means that you can be efficient with a small number of people, and moving forward, you can be efficient with like even a smaller amount of people. And again, I think like it's in every vertical, they're going to be this like super agents for design, super agent for marketing that you can hire to your team and they can do the work for you. And that essentially means that the only thing that you need is just like money for marketing in this like digital space, or like for sales. But the rest is just gonna be commoditized pretty quickly.
And how do you think that will look like on the technical side of things? So will there be like the base models? People take those base models, try to fine tune them, or is it literally just a prompt, or they kind of connect them with the right tools? Like, can you plot the technical infrastructure you envision for that?
I think it's for every type of this like super agents, let's say like design agent, they're gonna be one player that is able to fine tune on its like proprietary data. I don't know, Figma, let's say. I'm not sure they allow to fine tune on their data right now, but let's say they do. They are, and they creating this like, you know, design agent based on their data, which none of other competitors have. And that's going to be the way how their agent going to be differentiated from all the others.
But they build on top
Uh,
of existing LLMs.
They build on top of these
Software.
processes. I think like obviously the LLM is going to be commoditized, and the open source like models going to get stronger and stronger. The difference is obviously compared to like 2 years ago, the difference was huge. Right now, the difference is like much smaller. And I think they will be either like goes on top of open source models or on top of like proprietary models like OpenAI or Anthropic. I think the key difference is just they have this type of data that would make their agent better than everyone else. I don't think it's but that type of maybe there can be some type of agents where the compute could be the differentiator as well, but I think this like unique data is the key.
And what do you think will be the compute kind of interface? Will these LLMs directly kind of just work with the backend of Figma and not even bother what the user actually sees? And then at the end, just, hey, here's actually what we built. Or will those kind of agents go and use the computer instead of a human, something in between? I don't know the answer yet. I have a lot of kind of theories, but it's really interesting to actually get your point of view here.
I think I also don't have like the crystal ball, but the way how I see like generally people are very lazy, which means that they tend to have some friction when adopting new interfaces. Even like when I find it myself as well sometimes when I open a new like software, even though I'm pretty much familiar with all the UI and the ways how software is built. I'm still kind of having some friction sometimes, right? So I think people love interfaces that they get used to, and the most common interface right now is interface how we communicate with other people. So if we can take this example of design, right? Let's say you're right now hiring the freelance designer. So the way how we communicate with designer, first you jump on the call in like Google Meet or like in Zoom, and then have some onboarding conversation, provide some context about their business. Then you potentially like switch, turn off the camera, like and the call, like go to this like async mode on Gmail or on Slack, and then you have some iterations with it. So I think like this like super agent gonna have this same interface as this like freelance designer. It will be the combination of um, channels that we as humans are get used to, and then it's again probably in this like model, it will be just it'll operate the same way as the human operate right now. Go to Figma, build something in it, or just like send the like finished like product, the designs or like some assets back to the other agents or people. So that's one of the ways. Some people might disagree with this, and they feel that having like some software kind of thing is still like very efficient. But I kind of tend to think that the interface that people are already using right now is the one that can be adopted by agents as well.
Okay, if we assume this is true, that we'll continue with the interface that we have right now, then there's exactly these two ways, right? It's kind of this add-on in the existing software, or is this fully autonomous, kind of almost human out there? You hop on a call with him, you quickly explain him what's up. He goes and does his magic. He presents it to you.
Yeah.
That's the vision. Huh?
Yeah. He might like share the screen, like show some references. Exactly the same as people do right now. As I think it's gonna be true, especially in this like mixed systems where you still have human to agent communication. When we look further, and you have all these like super designers, super marketer, super software engineer, and agents communicate within each other, then that's going to be a different world. Obviously, the way how people interact is not efficient for agents, right?
Mhm.
For example, one of the founders actually, I told you before that before this podcast, I met with the guy with that exactly that kind of background. He was at Facebook. He moved from Russia before that, after the war started, and then um, the he built actually the protocol for two agents to communicate with each other without using the natural language because it's not efficient.
Exactly.
So when I think about and they communicating using some sort of like Morse code, it's like very it got viral on Twitter. I think 20 million views or something. It's um it's essentially gonna be a different world when agents gonna communicate within each other. Maybe the whole like you know um the whole concept of software uh, in this way that we use it right now not gonna exist.
I mean, you could kind of spin this topic into really the extreme. I mean, at some point, okay, if you have a super design agent, super software development agent, super, I don't know, marketing agent, super sales cycle agent, super this, super that. Technically, you could also have a super COO who's kind of coordinating with all of these people, and you have just one agent you talk to.
Yeah, 100%. That's the concept of this company of the future, one person, $1 billion like decacorn company. You essentially the CEO, you just provide money to all these agents, essentially money for compute,
Food?
and food. Yeah, essentially you're just providing the food. You're just like a catering company and maybe a little bit of direction. And that's it. You don't have to like motivate them. They are like pretty good like workers.
And they will communicate with each other in their own way,
Yeah, communicate with each other.
with their own protocols.
Yes, yes, yes. As far as I know, maybe you know that there was a company, um, uh, Manus? Manus?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Um, I wasn't sure how to pronounce it.
It's such a bad name, actually. It reminds me really of something else. Anyway,
Yes, it does. And actually, then founded the GitHub repo of the same company with that M. Actually, pretty cool naming. Anyway, it's so I think they have kind of the similar thing. They have like some like organizations, sort of organizations with different agents that are um, designed to communicate with each other. And by doing that like collaborative work, they can come up with some meaningful stuff. And I think that there was, I think, a couple of years ago, there was like the paper about it. The people would try to simulate the organization by putting, agents in the same room and saying like, you are the designer, you're a software engineer, you're the marketer, and just see how they communicate and like seems like environment. So yeah, it's I think that's definitely the future, and it's gonna be super exciting. I can't even imagine the software where you can just go, pick a few like agents,
Yeah.
and pay money and pay them do whatever you want, guys. Just come up with some, I don't know, like reports or product or whatever.
You should build that.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the directions. The thing that I focus on right now is to build a super marketing agent. But the long term vision is just to build this like system that can essentially create the space for this like different super agents to come up with the new businesses.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, there's really two sides of this coin, right? There's the side like for us entrepreneurs, it's incredible. We can via voice probably build anything. And I agree with you. I think that's gonna be the way. It's gonna be hard to imagine, but that's gonna be the way. But at the same time, if you look at the really big companies, those people will not be needed anymore. Well,
Yeah.
how is your? Because I mean, I know in AI, it's always these two things, and if we really assuming our thesis here or theory is correct, that's going to have a huge implication, right? On let's say normal office clerk people, whatever
Yeah.
that is, right? But how do you think they will navigate? What will happen to those people? What should we do with those people? Can we?
Yeah. That's a good question. I think first of all, there are going to be some type of businesses where still like the human touch is important, like in sales and other areas, like for like some medical work where you want to chat with the real person to get some, like sense of trustworthiness. I think it's still gonna be obviously areas where human touch will never go away. Uh, in a business. For others, this like um, it's hard to see how it's gonna go. It can go like either uh to the pretty positive side, in a way that we're gonna have like uh the people who can spend their lives like building some cool stuff, create creative, implement their creative ideas, and the on the opposite side of the spectrum, you might see it can create like some massive conflicts between like people who sort of like believe in AI, who want to, embrace AI, to people who are not happy with AI taking their jobs, or who think it's just like not good for it's it might even go like to the like extreme like scenario where you have like two different you know subgroups of people which don't like each other. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think in a way it already is. I mean, we already have these groups, and they're just going to get more extreme in their own thing. So, unfortunately, human nature is like that. Probably that you want to form groups, and you are kind of in your own echo chamber. But yeah, I tried to have a positive view on it. Honestly, I really tried to focus
Same.
on the very, very, very first part.
And then
I'm looking at it mostly from an entrepreneur's lens, and there it's the most exciting thing ever, ever, ever. I think there's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur, actually. If you know a little bit what you're doing, you can build cool things. But at the same time, yeah, I don't know. I'm just pondering on the question, what will most like input output people do, because a lot of these really big corporations who have hundreds of thousands or millions of employees, honestly, they can be reduced to maybe, let's say, whatever, 500. I'm just saying a number now, but that's gonna mean world's gonna look different.
yeah, I think obviously people who will people from these roles who will embrace AI still also going to be like, I think they're going to be pretty much relevant for a long time. Um, and also obviously they're going to be like some transitions, right? To areas which won't go away, where you would need. We still have like how many, like 8 billion people right now, 9 billion. It's a lot of people, right? And you would still need to communicate with other people, and I think for those like sessions, it might be, you know, reasonable to just get to the get to the areas where this like human interaction is will never go away.
Like my ideal scenario is really, I mean, I think we should really make the planet or our ecosystem multiplanetary very, very soon. And I think we should try to improve ourselves, the best possible way, whether it's mental health or physical health. And I just think that AI can really help us accelerate that.
Yeah.
So I think it will, and I'm trying to focus on a good case here now. I hope it can help us be healthier, maybe even really cure kind of aging as a disease. As silly as that today might sound, I just don't know what almost infinite amount of compute with really, really large and super, super smart systems will, what they will do, to biology, to medicine, to everything. The same thing really to space exploration, so many other critical things. I hope we can really leverage it for those great things and yeah, just fulfill this dream to go out to the stars and be healthy and be happy and I don't know, fix our brain chemistry to just feel good, because probably it's all just a thing that can be optimized at the end of the day.
Would you relocate to different planets? If you have a chance to?
Right now, not. I think right now, the state where we are, if you are kind of one of the first, I don't know, 100,000 people who go there, you'll just live in domes and you will not really go out and, I don't know, fly in space, like as fun as it sounds. But yeah, I see the way where we can really, I mean, hopefully at some point we can kind of figure out the traveling situation a bit faster. We can figure out maybe even the time component a bit better, that we can just kind of travel and, put ourselves to sleep. Really, as in the movie, as in the movie, I think all of those things are just problems yet to be solved. And yeah, if it's like that, I would absolutely do it. Of course. I mean,
Nice.
well, because what else is there? If it's a bit of a sad thought if everything we've ever built comes down to, I don't know, one asteroid or one pandemic or one very bad, nasty whatever, really crushing all of that. So
Yeah.
I think it's the only way, and it's going to be the test of probably our lifetime, our kids, our kind of grandkids' lifetime
Yeah.
to figure that out. And I hope, I guess, to end on a really good note, I hope we can kind of unite, as the world, and really work toward that goal, because it pumps me up.
Yes, 100%, 100%. And I think sometimes it's obviously it's so important to think about the future, like come up with the ideas how the world will look like in 5 to 10 years. But I think it's also important to live today.
Mm.
There's so many opportunities right now, so many stuff to be built. And as you mentioned, it's probably like the best time to be entrepreneur.
I agree. Well, I think those are wonderful last remarks for this beautiful episode. So, Greg, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. I think we should actually do a part 2, because honestly, we have around 30 questions prepared, and I think we got through one of those, which is great. So,
It is
we
great.
definitely do part 2. But for now, thank you so much. And
Enrico, thank you so much. It was
thank
absolute
you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.